He started off in June 2006. Fred, please share your story with us.
Good evening, everybody. It is sort of strange to stand here and having looked at the information that we all saw on the screens. It's true, I started in 2006, and my accountant at that time was a guy by the name of Franz van Schalkwyk. And he spoke to me about these magic products that we in Leone are importing from the US. And I'm a nutritionist, animal nutritionist, but a nutritionist by education, and he's an accountant. So the one thing I knew is that he knew nothing about this. But I trusted him with my accounting stuff, so I thought perhaps, I don't know what I really thought, but I suppose I thought that he might know something that I can benefit from. And that was quite interesting. As you saw on the screen there, an all-star pack, I don't know if it was called that in those days, I think so, was 16,000 Rand. And when I ordered my first all-star pack, my credit card went through, and now I waited for the product to be delivered. And then the thing went through on my credit card again, and I haven't received the first order yet. But before the third one went through, I got the first box. And that was one of the reasons why, well, I did something that you shouldn't do. And I'll come to that. But that's one of the reasons why I got started on products. Because when I was a bit younger than then, I was first diagnosed with one chronic condition. You get an ache in your toe that doesn't want to go away, especially if you drink wine. I lived in Kempton Park at that time, but we were down here in the Western Cape, and I did drink a lot of wine. And thought that I actually sprained my toe or something, but the doctor said no. And they gave me tablets for that. And after that, another set of tablets, and after that, another one. So I've got 3 types of different tablets that I'm using. And then one day I went to the pharmacy, got my new script, and as I went back home, put my car in the garage, opened the front door, oops, here, Francois stops. My first box. Now I've got the pharmacy tablets and I've got this big box. So I decided there's a sign in this. So I put away the pharmacy tablets in the bathroom closet little thingy, and I opened the big box and I started taking that stuff. And in those days, I think every 3 months or every 6, I don't know, I had to go back and have blood drawn, and then they send a letter to the doctor and he says, here's your script for the next whatever. But then when the letter came to my doctor, he found it quite strange because I didn't need any medication. The analysis said I don't need medication. Now it doesn't mean that I was cured. I just make sure that you know that. I wasn't healed of anything because we're not allowed to use that name. I wasn't cured because we're not allowed to use that word. But I just didn't need medication anymore. So for me that was great, and Francois and I spoke about the stuff when I was involved with the facility for AIDS infected and affected kids in town. We got them started on what is now the M5M program. It grew to other facilities in poor rural areas. That's the missionary organization there, and that's still going on today. And my time is up. But let me just finish with the bottom line. At present in Drakenstein municipality, but that is with Kids Around the World and M5M Foundation together. In Drakenstein municipality, 23,000 kids at the moment benefit from the M5M Foundation and Kids Around the World.
Thank you so much, Fred. Next up, we have Presidential Directors Hagen and Edelgard Rieck.
You've seen those boxes. Now, can you imagine those boxes arrived from Western Cape in the Eastern Cape, where we were working and telling people about all these amazing stories we heard when we visited Louis Leone. We didn't know them at the time. We were just invited to an evening and we were surprised with amazing stories. So, and that's what we went home with. And then these boxes started arriving after 3 months, after ordering them. A box this size, everything taped together, all those little boxes, the all-star boxes. And our special family time was when we, on every second Saturday, we started packing it into our, what car did we have at that time? In a bakkie. The children were sitting at the back, my daughter with a map because she was very organized, my son with a knife to open all those boxes, we get them separated. I was sitting up with a list to see everything's there, and Hagen was driving us from one part to the next to do our deliveries. And that was our family time. And there's so many things that we can remember with notifications that came through. It's actually shocking to think about it. People phoning us and saying, where are our boxes? Why haven't they arrived yet? We got a lot of people skills challenges.
Now, as you can recall, I didn't have a job anymore. So here's my challenge. I had to buy this all-star pack, and it went into 2 sections. So you first pay the transport fees, and then you pay the products. Then only will you wait. So what happens now is the same method that you saw there, our checks came in. Okay, so that means in some of these big boxes, all our checks were there. So Louis Leone would actually sort out all of these checks. I don't know how they actually did, who belonged to who and which check went to, oh, it's a Jew. Okay, there you go. So here's my problem. I was dependent on that money because I didn't have a job anymore. So here's my conversation with Louis. Now, I didn't know Francois by then, but I know Louis because I know that he's going to send me the checks. So I phoned him, and this is the conversation. Louis, can you please send me the checks? I need it because I am dependent on the managing income. And Louis said, Hagen, as soon as you send me the 100 rand, so that I can send you the checks to the Eastern Cape, I will send you the checks. I'm like, Louis, listen, I need the checks so that I can pay you that you can send the checks. So Louis would say, Hagen, as soon as you pay the 100 rand, you will get your checks. Now, remember, my parents thought I'd lost all my marbles, but I had to phone my mother, and I said, Mother, I need 100 rand for my pyramid scheme. Right, so this is how I got my money. Now, if you get your checks, it's not in a bank yet, it's in US dollars. So what happens now is you run to Bidwest, which is in PE, which I didn't have money to drive to because remember I'm waiting for the money to come in so that I can have petrol money so I can change the checks. Okay, so here the money is finally there. Then I sent it to Bidwest, and Bidwest was very nice because they were like international bank, and within 2 days the money showed. Wow, and you are complaining about what? So there's one other story I want to tell you this. So this is really what happened. Listen to this. So in order to save money, Leone and Louis and I don't know who else, they came to the bright idea to put the checks under the boxes. Right? So the checks are plucked onto the boxes, and these boxes are coming here. So now I phone Louis and said, Louis, I need my check. Then eventually after 2 days, because remember they have to figure out where the checks are, I got a call from Leone. Leone says, they are under the box. Now think about what happened at home. We were cutting up the boxes, we were delivering the boxes, right? By the time we got the message that the checks is in the box, the box wasn't at home anymore. So we had to find the checks. I'm telling you, that was a lot of fun. I tell you, we had fun. And we did this for 2 years before finally head office came and opened it. So when I see any courier company, I wait for them to pass so that they can deliver the parcels. I never want to do that again. That was a nightmare. So you have been very, very lucky. Thank you.
We have on the 15th, it's just ka-ching, then your money's in.
Yes.
So can you see how the pioneers went through difficulties to be here and to tell the stories. So I want to call up Bronze Presidentials, Sylvan and Priscilla Prinsloo.
Come on.
Just a caveat before I get into my motion of the ocean is it's all due to Priscilla, my wife. She was headstrong in wanting to build this business, but it's not about that. For me, it's not to appear to be a charlatan here trying to profess that I'm the major or magic in our entity. So, yeah, look, I mean, it's a backstory. We have a short time, so I'm not going to go much into the detail of the backstory, but what I'm going to tell you, I remember calling Louis at 9 o'clock at night, and there was something that happened, and then something else happened, and then I called him and I said, listen, I believe there's a business side to this, because what happened before that is he told me that we buy this product, and then I asked him what it cost, and then I remembered my first property was 60,000 Rand, and when I heard the price of the Ambritos, and I thought, my goodness, I almost buy a house for this, you know, well, what is it? I actually asked him, you know, what is this? Can I see the tub? Can I just see what it looks like? And I actually went and I looked at it, I got pure gold in there. But he just carried on, he was talking about the dream. I'm going to leave a lot out, but I remembered one of the things he did tell me was he dealt with gun safe, so I wasn't going to miss. I just want to tell you beforehand too that Louis and Leonie, they were quintessential dreamers. Louis was a master dreamer, and I tell you, I remember wanting to see the plane. What he showed me and told me was about that plane, that very plane. The version was slightly different, but he used to tell me that I bought into that. I mean, and the thing about Louis, in all great respect to him, is that he understood the personality types. And he read me like full on. He was feisty. For those people who are all onto romance, Louis was a tough nut. Let me tell you something. It's the reason why he held on to this thing. He fought hard. You know, you need guts to get out of the ruts. You know, otherwise it's just sand in your face. So, yeah, the big story on that. So I remember, he didn't show me the plan. But with all due respect, he didn't show me the plan. But he kept talking about this plane. He said, so man, for those people, I know when somebody's been in Louis' company for a long time. He always says, man, we're going to do this. And we're going to have this plane. And I remember, I visualized, I still do today. I said, then what we're going to do is, if all those people had said no to you, we're gonna have a plane, and the windows we're gonna have made bigger. Then we'll all be sitting, we'll have a window seat, and we're gonna fly low. And all those people that said no to us, they must see us. And that's how I know we're gonna go. So good. The backstory on the product. Priscilla used to collect the products. You see, again, she's. It's a big thing for me. But she used to deliver the product. She used to fetch it. You've got like fast track and all that. Priscilla used to do that. She used to collect the stuff. The bigger your business, the faster, the harder, the more you trade in this white harder. Yes, you registering somebody. Now it's like, get your laptop. Smooth, man. Smooth. Very good sense, man. No, not with us. Way back it was like, no, you see, you fill in this piece of paper. Then don't put your address on there. You put this address on there. It's just a little line money. So no, but you just pay that you're going to do. Okay, the first time, that's one, I'm going to tell you just one customer, just so you understand and appreciate the intensity of all this. So you sign them, people you take somebody, your friend's money, they don't get anything. Then they take the delivery, no product. Then it's like, listen, what's going on with this Vanitech thing? I said, no, I tell you what, we've got a Luciano Fidelio, which is like Italian. No way. And we're starting a business, we're building an empire. had that plan. So, okay, let's get out with some more people. It's actually quite incredible. And then, you know, standing alongside the road, and like I said, I remembered, we had a few, more than 80 people. Imagine loading your boots, hot summer's day. Not me, so. Priscilla, actually. That's also part of maybe in another discussion. I can tell you how to do that if you know how. But the big thing was that we were prepared to do what it took. Because Louis never could understand what no meant. It's the reason why he took up the fight, took it to America. And not only Louis, but out of every successful man, there's a woman. And I also want to take the opportunity and attribute to Leonie because we've come a long way. And I don't quite know if Louis was like that with everyone, but I do always feel that he saw right through me. And the dream was always a big thing. He understood that if you buy an emotion, you've got the person's heart and soul. And I bought into the Van der Linde family. I appreciate them. And I hope that you could see the fun in it, but it started there for us, but we didn't know better. And I'm very grateful that I made this decision. In closure, I want to say, I don't know anyone else that would have taken up the fight, that have done what Louis did. Anyone else? And listen, I'm old, I've been around a long time. I don't know anyone that have taken up the fight, that have stood the test of time, that have done what Louis did. And all honor to him. Thank you.
Sure, guys, I'm so grateful to just know that Louis was the bricklayer at first there. So I want to call our gold presidentials, Sebastian Brafkamstra, also June 2006.
I must say, to think 17 years back, it keeps you humble. So we were based in Nelspruit, and that's actually in White River, but my office was in Nelspruit. So our friend invited us for a business presentation, and it was I think it was a Thursday afternoon, and there was Vincent Yolandi. And I think you've heard Vincent Yolandi's story, visiting Mozambique to dive with the dolphins and all that. I think they came back just from that. They came from Mozambique to Nelspruit because Vince had long hair, loose clothes, and were bare feet. And we come and attend a business meeting. And we said yes. Because they promised that their dad will come and visit us. So we decided at some stage, so as I said, we've waited 2 to 3 months to get our products. So when you get your products, you receive a lot. And Rash said in Johannesburg, she said, with her health challenge, we were so excited to get our products after we paid 3 times. When you receive a box full of products, there's enough. So she just started using it, a tub a week. So, and we just saw it working. So, I want to say with that is, use enough of the products. Use enough that you can see results. Because once you see results, the rest is obvious. Because nothing else worked for her. But when she saw what this product did for her, we just knew I just had to find a way to pay for it. So we made that work. And then we decided to come and visit Louis here in the Cape to see where all the boxes go before it comes to us. And we've heard Eckart's story, and we knew that Brookhaven way. We knew it was going there, and then we came to the office in Somerset, and the office was in the cellar. But first, when you arrived there, there was a Wendy house with a lot of products in, and then you go into the office. Now, I don't know if you've been in the office in the cellar at Leonie's house. But when you go in there, first you have to watch for your head. And then you walk in the cellar like this. Because it's just Francois, I don't know if you can remember when we were there, we were summoned to go and have a meeting with the courier people because something was wrong there and they needed more people to support them for that meeting. So Francois, we went for that meeting with, I think it was Fast and Furious, or they were furious, not fast. But we were there. We just attended the garden. I didn't know that we were going to have a meeting, but we said, oh, hop in the car, there we go. So, yeah, it's, I must say, I also, like Selwyn said, take my hat off to Louis and Leonie and to Vincent Yolandi, having the guts to go for 3 months to White River, to Nelspruit, to start their dream there, because Louis sold to them the dream of a new future, and that's what we saw in their eyes. We saw that we just need to stick around. As they say, stick around, they'll make you famous. So we appreciate that, and it's such a privilege to be here tonight as one of the pioneers with Brad and myself. So thank you so much for it.
You guys, Francois and Mabel van Skalkwyk is Silver Presidentials, and they started in March 2006. So 3 months earlier than the previous speakers. So I would love to hear your story, Francois. Welcome to the stage.
Yeah, listening to all of this brings back a lot of memories and so on. So I can still remember how we got the people started, and then there's some people really urgently looking for their products, and we will just give away products, wait till theirs come, and then we will just replace it and do things like that. And especially when we had people complaining about the second order going off, and they're still waiting for their original enrollment order. You know, then we would take some of our products just to keep them quiet. Okay, that's okay, that's okay. I mean, you see the newspapers and so on and so on. So we couldn't afford anything negative going out there, you know. So we would just cover up for that. And like Hagen now spoke about the checks, I can still remember in the beginning, before we got involved with that bank, we had to go to our own banks with the checks. Now imagine going to the bank with a check of $26 or $118, and they charge you 1,400 Rand to cash it. So we couldn't cash some of the checks. So we just let go of it, you know, it's part of our history there. And then the checks got bigger and it got better, and then they negotiated with another bank and they started charging us a fixed fee to cash the checks. You'll have to wait 2 days, but at least it was a third or a quarter the price, the rate. So at least we could get that done. And the third month in business, when we got the check, Mabel was sitting there getting quiet. She said, listen, I must first speak to Louis about this check before you cash it. I said, well, call Louis and speak to him about the check, you know. So she called Louis. She said, Louis, I see this check for $1,400. Are we doing something wrong here? Can we cash this check, or are we looking for trouble cashing this check, you know? So that's where we were in the beginning. So, yeah, because everything was done under the radar, kind of undercover still. And I can remember that meeting that Louis and Leonie called, and remember I was their accountant, so I had insight to some of the things that happened there. And at that stage, Louis already used up all his Freedom Fund to upfront pay for the imports and the shipping and stuff. Now it's a second bond on a flat to help subsidize that, and now we're 5,000 people living in one post box. And we said, listen here, I think we should stop this now. You know, I mean, so we had this meeting here in Stellenbosch, and we discussed the whole thing. We can't stop it now. People need the product. We see the changes. We see the functions that we host with standing room only, a room like this, with standing room only. So, yeah, made a plan there and carried on with it. And from that, added to that, was the Mission 5 Million. And for Mail and myself, that was a big part of the whole process. Apart from the people benefiting from the product, the kids that we could take care of was an amazing part in our lives. So Mabel was the one getting all the places in South Africa on board, did all the admin work. Can you remember all the paperwork involved in that? And then the monthly reports that you had to collect from the people, help them with the reports, give feedback to M5M, and then get more product in. So, but was it worth it? Every moment was worth it. Look at today in South Africa, where we can nourish 27,500 kids, more or less, closing in on 30,000 now. And with this new program now, definitely will exceed 30,000 soon. And isn't it amazing to be involved with something that the visionaries saw and willing to fly for a 10-minute interview, getting the message to sow the seed and see what will happen in South Africa. Just a year later to year, I told you to sow the seeds, not to water it and fertilize it as well. But that's where we all started. So I can still remember Louis' last words to me last year was, Francois, never underestimate small beginnings. And I will always remember that. Never underestimate small beginnings. And the perseverance they showed. Through this whole process. It was really easier to give up and just wait. But he wasn't willing to do that. People needed this, and people wanted this, and the business side as well. So I'm very grateful for this whole journey up to now. Looking forward to the next 15 years.
Platinum Credentials, Vincent and Julandi van der Linde started October 2005. Would you please come and share your story with us?
So many memories, but I think one of the funny ones was, and I'm trying to think how am I going to explain this to you now. So in the old days, you had to be an all-star to build a business. So I guess it's almost now like being an associate versus being a customer. So we were so excited about this, and we were already ordering products and whatever. And Vince was upstairs in the office in Riesling Street, and it was a hot summer's day. And I remember him coming running down and going, "Dad, we've got to go all-star." Like, we didn't even know that we were supposed to be like associate. We were just customers, but we were so excited. So I was like, "Dad, we're going to go all-star." And my job was writing the names on the boxes. So when you see the photos inside that Wendy house, and the boxes are stacked from floor to ceiling, and they've got names written on them, Black Cokie, that was me. And I remember when things started getting so exciting, Louis was flying all over South Africa. He was everywhere. He was flying everywhere just to go and share the good news about Amritos that's in South Africa. And Leonie and the whole team, we were at the office, and she would work until 11 o'clock at night, and then she would drive herself down to the 24-hour McDonald's because she hadn't had a meal. I remember that. And probably my favorite memory, before I share my favorite memory, that friend that Sebastian was talking about that invited him, the first time we shared a DVD with him, we only had one DVD, guys. There were no apps, there were no links, there were no brochures or quick deliveries. We only had one DVD. It was an hour and a half long. It was an American. It was called Outside the Box. It was so boring the first time I watched it. I fell asleep. That was what we had to work with. And we went to his house and we were like, did you watch the intro? He's like, no, I threw it. It's right there behind the TV. We were like, well, guess what we're doing today? And we put the DVD in and we watched it together. And I'm so glad we did that. I'm so glad you came for that ride. Anyway, probably my favorite memory of that time is in those months that people wait for their products. If someone really needed a product for a super health challenge, other people would share their products. So you've ordered products for yourself because you've heard it's amazing, but you don't have a life-threatening disease. And we had this network of people like you who would say they can have my product until the next batch arrives. And that's how it started in South Africa.
All right, so yeah, it was quite an adventure at the time. So let me just quantify some of what you've heard the speakers say. My dad flew over to the States to have an appointment with one of the co-founders of Manatech without being invited. I think Luciano actually was brilliant in arranging it. He basically said, okay, Sam is here, basically. You can come, you know. And he's not flying anywhere in the next week, so you can come. So he would arrive and walk in the front door, and they protected Manatech in the sense that Manatech is only allowed to deliver to an American address, obviously, and Manatech is only allowed to do business in countries where they operate. So that's where the whole, you saw my brother speak about how they received the parcels in Atlanta, Georgia. The challenge with this was that as it grew bigger, as South Africans, when you phone the call center, you're not I'm sure there were many South Africans that would say, my parcel is not here. And then the person on the other side would say, excuse me, what did you say? And then you'd have to learn to put on an American accent because it was hilarious because they wouldn't understand you. And then if you put on an American accent, they would actually understand you so you can have a conversation with somebody. So it was hilarious in my house when they all know when I'm speaking to the call center because I suddenly try and speak American accent. Yeah. And so I would phone and then they say, oh, can you tell us where you're calling from? And I say, and then you have to say, I'm calling from 506 Brookhaven Way, Atlanta, Georgia. And then they say, all right, and they look it up on the system. And so we had to teach everybody to say 506 Brookhaven Way, Atlanta, Georgia. So if you say, I'm from South Africa, I'm sorry, we don't do business in South Africa, and then you hang up the phone. And so I mean, I remember at one stage I think Sam, I don't know if the board completely knew what was going on. They probably didn't know. I don't know the whole story. But Sam said they would say to him, is South Africa open? Are we doing business in South Africa? He said, no, we're not doing business in South Africa. But Georgia is rocking. So anyway. You heard about the checks. I mean, one of the things that Fransha omitted to say was that when you take the check to the bank, initially they would charge you 1,000 rand to cash a check, but you would have to wait 6 weeks because they have to send the check back to the States to actually see that the check's for real, and then there would be a transfer that happens until we got Bidvest to take the risk basically and do it. So yeah, that was how we started. And the major challenge that my father had was that he wasn't registered as an importer. So when the parcels would arrive, he would have to go to customs and pay up front to release. You know, so a normal courier company has a 30-day, you can do business and then pay it in 30 days. He didn't have that, so he would have to take his own money and then pay it and then release. Now, the logistics was, as you saw, the products left Miami or left Florida and then went on a ship. And they would phone up. The product is supposed to take just a few weeks to arrive. But then they phone up and just try and track the products, and then they would say, oh no, the ship's in Singapore. Why is the ship in Singapore? We're in Cape Town. It's the wrong direction. And then, okay, no, we'll send it to you next. And you phone again, 2 weeks later. Because now people are shouting at you, eh? I mean, if there's a month or two that goes by, you've taken 16,000 rand as an all-star pack, and then another 2,000 or 3,000 rand every time the automated order happens. After the second one, the guy's on the phone with his lawyer, you know? And you have to hold the phone like this because it's shouting.
Please, can I say something? We have a friend that used to work in government. He actually used to write speeches for the president. And we employed him to come and work with our little team of 8 at the office just to handle the complaint calls.
Yeah, he was basically a politician. That's why we hired him. So anyway, so it would take all these months, and you would really learn great people skills. But the thing is that my dad would pay 300,000 rand to release the shipment. Okay, that shipment you saw in the venture little boxes. He paid 300,000 rand customs to release the shipment. Now he's counting on the fact that it's going to take maybe a month before the next shipment comes, so you can get more money in from people ordering. And then because of shipping things, 3 days later another one arrives, and he has to go and pay another 300,000 rand to release it. So in all of this, I mean, they had 2 apartments at the waterfront, you know, the marina, those beautiful bluff apartments, the waterfront, you guys know, they're by the One and Only Hotel, all those apartments. They had 2 of them, and they financed those properties. They basically lost 2 million rand. They took 2 million rand out of those properties. I don't know how many of you know the story. They took 2 million rand out of those properties and used that in making mistakes, basically. I mean, they didn't get any of it back to launch this, you know. And yeah, and then at one stage we were 3,000 people living in one post box, and 5,000, and then we eventually they launched, and it was just amazing. So I want to say thank you to all the pioneers, everybody that was around at that time, that had patience with us, and yeah, I mean, I'm so excited. So excited for the future. We have it so easy. We have a red carpet now that we can walk upon and build business, you know, which is wonderful. So.
Then we have the privilege for 2-star platinum, Louis and Leonie van der Linde, to come and share their story. They started May 2005.
Thank you. I was the lady they were shouting at all the time. We became masters at inventing excuses. It was like the shipment is being held, they're having another polisieklopjag, I don't know what that is in English. The stuff got stuck somewhere on the ship. Oh, it's at the airport, it's going to be another 3 days, and then in 3 days they phone and it's still not been released, and then you have to invent another excuse. Narcotics department, whatever.
Remember that?
They had stickers on. Often it arrived with us with these red narcotic stickers on, because it was powder. And we just became so good at excuses, I'll never forget. And here's the tough part. Even though they were complaining so much, we had to stop them from phoning the US, because South Africa wasn't open. So how can they complain about a parcel being late, or paying for something, or an address that they don't know where it is in America, like someone said, a big amount, and then phone to complain that company, Manatec in Capel, Texas. But if you phone Manatec, then they say, I'm sorry, we are not in South Africa. So of course people thought it was a scam. And then one day we had front page in Die Burger. Scam sugars, sweet sugars, biggest scam in South Africa. So, but I'm going to tell you a little bit, and if it wasn't for these pioneers and more of you guys that started 2007, 2008, but I think the biggest deal was in those 2 years when Manatec was not officially open in South Africa, and we were Manatec, we were the call center. We had to take everything, we had to deliver everything. We had to have good people skills, we had to keep the people, but man, were we excited. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about the first functions. So our first super regional events were testimonial events. So I'll never forget, we lined up 10 people at the Stellenbosch Lodge. Anybody know where that is? Stellenbosch Lodge in Stellenbosch. I was the biggest, closest venue that we could, I think the maximum was 160 that you could take. We were always more than 200. We were packed. We were packed here, we were packed there. There was, in the summer times, because I think we had every 3 months, the doors, there were people standing in the doors. Then there were chairs out behind those people where people stood on those chairs because you couldn't find space. And then we would pick the 10 guys that really had such a, I mean, there was too many, but because we knew some of them personally, we start with the, let's say, the less serious challenges, and the last 2 or 3 would be like the most serious health conditions, like the life-threatening diseases. And the guys would come on and say, this is what I had, and someone told me about this, and look where I am now. And we were just nailing it. And I'll never forget this one guy, and he was just so excited. I think Yolandi spoke about him earlier, but yeah, they were putting, they had a whole presentation on the screen of blood counts and I don't know what all, and explaining how it was and how it is, and people were cheering, and that's all we did. We just told stories. That was our first big events for 2 years. Then when we started building the business, more people came on board. We went to Manifest, must have been 2006, I'm not sure, maybe 2007, maybe 2007. And there we were already 4 or 6 presidentials. In 1 year, without Manitech being there, we held 4 or 6 presidentials to go presidential. And here we go to Manifest, because Louis and I went there with Luciano to check it out. You saw the photo there in 2006, but when the next one came around, more people and more leaders wanted to see the reality. Where's the head office? Where is this address? Where is Coppell, Texas? Where is this company called Manitech? Because all they see is the seller, the products, the newspapers, and this massive, how can you say, negative from doctors. And today it's not such a big deal anymore, but in those days, wherever you went, people didn't know about it, and people didn't believe it, it was a scam. It was not easy, but I mean, the story told the story. So we went to Dallas, and I'll never forget, there's always a presidential dinner. Have you been to a presidential dinner at Manifest? Few of you. And I think it was the second night of the event. All the presidentials of Manitech was invited, but we couldn't be there. Now we were presidentials, but remember South Africa is not open yet. So we got a big check from the CEO at that time to go and eat at a steakhouse. Please just don't be here. Something like Cattle Baron or the Texas, one of the nice ones, and we sat there. Luciano still sat with us. We were 4 or 6 couples. I'll never forget. We had such a good steak, but then we dream, and we promised ourselves that we'll be in that room and we're going to be part of that presidential dinner, and because we were jealous, we wanted to be there. So fast forward, we grew so fast just by telling the stories, the products working. We didn't have a system, we didn't have meetings, we didn't have a real business plan. I think we started to show it on a napkin, a little bit here, a little bit there. You know, the famous napkin plan. Then we were invited to the presidential summit, which that year was the ship. I think, Al, you were on it, the cruise.
No, I wasn't yet. Not yet.
2008. So that was that. So every year we go to Hawaii, but this year it was our first one. So that year we took, how many were we? 10 or 12 couples already. And that was like in less than 2 years. We did so well that we were invited because we were in our presidentials, bronzes or whatever. So we went on this summit, and it was on this cruise. Now remember, we're still not officially open in South Africa, but people are talking about South Africa. Why is South Africa? What's happening in South Africa? No, South Africa is not open. And then we were on that ship, and we were also kind of hiding from the rest of of the Manatech presidentials because we were not open. So I'll never forget, you know, on a big cruise ship, you've got these passages and you can't miss someone because you have to walk down this passage. And I was at the spa this one day, and I'm not going to say the lady's name, I still remember her name. She was talking to they were asking at the spa, where are you from, what do you do? And she said, no, we're this team, Manatech. And I don't know how it got to a place where she was talking about this team from South Africa, and they shouldn't be here, and all of that. But I was standing behind, I was looking at the prices or something, and I just disappeared. Because we were just so low profile, we had to be low profile. So we couldn't be visible. We just did it. We were there. I don't know how we got through that week. But here's the thing, and this is my last thought with you. That next March, the next manifest in Dallas must have been March or May 2009. Because you opened for us in 2008. So we prayed very hard that Manatech, through all of this, would really come into the country. Louis flew over 3 times without an appointment. Then eventually they promised us that they're going to open, and then it took another 6 or 9 months. We were like at our wits' end. You know, we were like so many staff, so sick and tired of calls and complaints and products not arriving and whatever. And so when they eventually opened in 2008, we were so excited. We celebrated for a long time. I'll never forget. We took all the credit card machines from my house. We let go of, 8 or 9 people. I think Candy was still very young. She was still part of that team, the pioneer team in the office. My mom worked for us. Everybody that we knew came to help. And then the next year at Manifest when we went, now they must have been very surprised when we opened in 2008, and in 2009, South Africa walked away with just about everything, all the awards. We had presidentials coming across stage, we had bronze presidentials coming, we had silvers, we were gold presidentials then. We walked away with South Africa walked away with the global business builders, biggest, the 2 biggest awards that Manatech award every year at Manifest. So in 1 year, we grew to that place. So, but what they didn't know was for 2 years in South Africa, we were just doing it, we were exploding, we were just telling people, and we just couldn't stop talking about this incredible technology. And here we are today, and like the pioneers say, we are more excited about the next few years than about what's happened. So thank you to you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys. It was really, I was really, just say more, tell more.